Well, hello folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, let's pull up that screen. Oh, mighty Ilus.
By powers of ore which are exceptionally strong, dishes fly in the box where they belong.
All right, folks, we're going to talk about September and everything that's going on with Ilus. Also, I've got an interview with a short, and he's going to kind of explain how shorts work and what's going on, and I'm going to talk to him a little bit and ask him a few questions. I think you'll find it entertaining and might learn a few things about the shorts. All right, let's start with Ilus's tweet. It said their September milestones. It says Serbia first site occupation and deal announcement, so that's big. Their Form 10 ticker and name change submission. An investment bank announced, that's good. That'll get them lower interest rates and also better financing. QIND, which is Quality International, $100 million revenue acquisition. We know all about that one. ERT, of course, and the uplisting to the NASDAQ, et cetera, with that, which is all under the Ilus umbrella. Further acquisition announcements should be very interesting. And here's a big one. Share lockup and share buyback announcement. That's coming this month. So we've been waiting on that share lockup offer that's going to go out there to try to move them into preferred shares and get them out of the common. And then also a buyback announcement. That's interesting. Let's see what's going on with the shares right now. They're still at 1.325. Hasn't really moved any. It's been updated. And market cap sitting at 88 million, which is fine and dandy. And nothing's really happening on that. No additional shares have been added. And there is one thing, tomorrow, I can't show it to you on the computer screen because this computer's got an old chip, but I can read it to you. It's on the Ilus Discord, and it says court case alert for Ambrose and Keith Limited Securities. And Ilus is trying to get that 40 million shares reduced off their outstanding shares on a deal that never happened. So that's being heard tomorrow. So that should work out pretty well for the company, I would assume. Now, granted, it's only 40 million shares in a company that's got 1.325 out there, but look at the grief they took over 53 million shares being added the other day. So 40 million shares, not insignificant. And you can see it's still pink current. As you know, last week we had the vicious yield sign show up because of a mistake by the OTC markets, which again tells you, man, the OTC markets can make a mistake or two, and it was over just a small issue that had been rectified by the company, and they'd send the documents to OTC markets and the revised quarterly report, but they hadn't looked at that, and they slapped a yield sign on them. And fortunately, JP Backwell was there to make sure that didn't happen and got it taken care of before 9:30 that morning, or the stock would have dropped for sure. I don't think there's any question. So it's still sitting here pink because we had some good management to take care of that problem. And you know, it's dangerous on the OTC. And remember, this company, I haven't covered it in a week, but remember this company had over 500% increase in revenue to 19.6 million with a 1.1 million in profit. But also remember, they had over $500,000 in non-operating expenses, which I'm sure has to do with acquisitions and the fact they just had all their financials audited, and that costs a lot of money. So that was not easy. They had to go over 2 years, and 1 year they weren't even in charge of the company. So that auditing was not easy, and they did get it finalized. And I bring it up because they've taken grief over that for months. It's done now, and that's still not going to satisfy the shorts. And we're going to talk about the shorts in a minute. Check this out. The short volume on the 6th was 70% of all the shares that were bought that day, and of course immediately sold, they were shorts. So the shorts have just been that's unbelievable, 70%. That is a lot. Now, I do have a satellite link with a short. He's actually a doctorate from Short University, and he's been a short for years. And I'm going to interview him, ask him a few questions, and kind of go from there. I'm just going to call him Mr. Short, okay? Because, you know, he's incognito, you can imagine. But Mr. Short, let me ask you this. Why are you shorting stocks, and kind of what's your mindset and all of that? Well, first of all, Mr. Frugal, thanks for having me on your show. I've watched it a few times. It sucks, but that's okay. I'll put up with you. Number one, I'm kind of pissed off most of the time. I spend most of my time on stock twits, Reddit, Twitter, places like that. I do want everybody to know that every company that I talk about is a scam, total scam. Every single one that I talk about is a scam, and that's just the way it is. All right, Mr. Short, now you're saying every stock you talk about is a scam. Are all the stocks in the OTC, are they all scams? Or is it just the ones you talk about? Well, Mr. Frugal, just to be quite blunt with you, yeah, they're all scams, every single one of them. But when I talk about them, they're definitely scams. They're 100%. You need to understand that every single CEO, managing director, whatever, are the worst people on the planet. They literally, in the wintertime, will show up with a garden hose in front of little old ladies' houses and put water on their porch so they'll slip and fall. They pull wings off of flies. They're horrible people, and that's all they are, all the time. I don't make the rules up, okay? That's who they are. Now, Mr. Short, that seems, that really seems quite dire. Surely you don't think they're all that way. I mean, that just seems very unrealistic on your part. Let me explain something to you, Mr. Frug. First of all, don't talk to me that way when I'm hurting.
You know better to talk to me like that when I'm hurting, Linda.
Yeah, I'm hurting over here. Things aren't going the way I want them to all the time, and I don't like being talked to that way when I'm hurting. Look, I'm late for being on StockTwits and Reddit, and I've got a lot of people to yell and scream at and curse, and I don't have time for these interviews from you, Mr. Frug, or whatever your freaking name is. I don't like you anyway, never have and never will. And I would curse you out right now, but you'd probably edit it out, which is normally what I do. And I just want you to know, everybody's a scam. Everybody. You're all scams. Geez, calm down, Mr. Short. You're getting all tore up. What's wrong with you? I don't get it. What did you do before you were a short, by the way? I actually had a really good business. I was selling soup in New York, and my place was packed. And then this a-hole Elaine took my recipes and creeked me.
Good. Very good. You know something? No soup for you! Come back 1 year!
And it's been hell ever since, okay? Maybe that's why I'm a short. I don't know. I'm done with this interview. I'm done. Leave me alone. Well, I'm sorry you folks had to hear that. I knew it wasn't going to be a good interview, but, I always try to give people a chance, but that was a little rough. Just looking at the stock today, it was up about 3%, so it's jumped off that 6 cents. Looks like it's got pretty good support right there, and it's sitting around 7 now. So, a couple of good days in a row, it's been a tough market. It's really a tough market all the way across the board. Everybody's struggling. But looks like Ilus is trying to make a little bit of a comeback, and the month ahead looks real good. They've got a lot going on. We'll find out tomorrow about those 40 million shares. And it sounds like later in the month we're going to hear about the occupation and deal announcement in Serbia, the Form 10, which is that's helpful because that allows your banks to invest and you get better financing. And they talked about the investment bank announced. And we know they've already got their auditing taken care of, which was great. Further acquisition announcement. There's just a lot going on. Very interested in this share lockup issue. That should be very helpful to us common shareholders. So I just want to do a little Ilus update. It's been about a week since I've done one, and a lot going on, a lot getting ready to happen. So, we'll keep track of that and see how it plays out over time. But I like this company, and I'm holding my shares. I'm not going anywhere. I don't care what that short says. He was kind of brutal. But, sometimes it's good to see that, and you'll see him on StockTwits, I'm sure. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover Ilus. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on Mr. Frugal Investment.